Just as I was about to start cutting out this beautiful rainbow check, I thought this is a lovely opportunity to show you how I get my pattern matching lined up. So the first thing I'm going to do is make sure I'm balanced. That means making sure that there is a stripe running down the middle on the fold and pinning that in place. Next is lining up the other sides. Now this has come straight off the bolt, and as you can see, these stripes are not aligned properly. So we're going to force the fabric up so that the correct stripes are lying on top of each other and pin that down the selvage all the way down as well. Now this prepping of the fabric does take time, but it's half the battle when it comes to pattern matching and making sure that things are laying balanced. It is well worth putting the time into this step. The next thing I'm going to do is try and stabilize the middle, making sure that I've got those stripes as parallel across the middle as I can. So I'm just going to take a pin, pop it in the top of one of the stripes in the middle, and then flip the fabric back to check that that pin is in the top of a stripe on the other side. I'll repeat this in a few spaces all the way down the fabric. And then it's time to lay our pattern on. Now, this is the next thing. So the first thing you do is just pin your first piece on. It's going on the fold. We've stabilized the fold and made sure that's correct, so that's all fine. So we'll pin that in place. And then it comes to placing the second one. And this is when we start to look at pattern matching. And the thing I want you to think about is notches. Notches are really helpful for lining things up because they're on both pattern pieces. So we can make sure that wherever those notches are sitting on one piece, they're going to sit the same on the other. Now this fabric isn't wide enough for me to get this particular pattern side by side, which would be the easiest way to do this. So I'm just going to look at where those notches fall on my pattern and make sure that it's linearly going to work down. We're not going to get a vertical pattern match, and the colors are definitely going to be slightly different just because of how this is, but that's fine. As long as my horizontal stripes are coming together, it's not going to be a problem and it's going to look correct. So I'm just looking at lining up those notches in the exact same place on where the print is so that they will line up. Again, half the battle is in this prep. Now, what you should find is that if you've lined your notches up on the print, where they hit the hem should also line up as well. And that's a nice check for you. Now, don't worry about the top half because on this pattern, for example, there's a bust dart. So I don't expect them to line up the same in the underarm, and that's okay. And then we're ready to cut out. Now I'm going to do sewing with the pattern matching in a part 2 for you, but the work I've done here is going to make that a lot easier.